Thank you very much, Matthew, and a warm welcome to you all. What an extraordinary time it's been to be a financial planner in Australia. The GFC just never seems to end. And for that matter, the lead up to FOFA also never seems to be ending. The population is ageing and putting more strain on the age pension system year after year. So the need for advice has actually never been greater. And yet, the take-up of advice is still way too low. The reality is that consumers who have a trusted financial planner love them, you know that. But most consumers still view financial planners as a necessary evil. And at worst, there are still far too many scandals reported in the media. Let me tell you a story. A couple of weeks ago, I read yet another media report in which a crook who called himself a financial planner conned an unsuspecting single mother of three out of $30,000. This happened up the road in Bundaberg. Now, we've all read those sorts of stories before. Let me ask you, how do they make you feel? Sad and angry for the innocent consumer? Without question. Incensed at the bad name that these reports continue to give financial planners? Absolutely. Well, within 48 hours of that report, the paper had published a letter written from me on behalf of the FPA members, especially those in Bundaberg, to set the record straight. We said that a rogue planner who has now been jailed was never an FPA member. We said that we believe these incidents can only be prevented if the term financial planner is restricted only to those who work to higher standards of education, experience and ethics, higher standards than required by the law. And we urge consumers to look for an FPA member who works on these high standards when they need financial advice. These are the messages that we say over and over and over again in the media, in advertising, and in our discussions with government and regulators. So let me ask you, as a professional financial planner, who's watching your back? You're honest. You care about your clients. And you're committed to your work. We know that. You know that. To you, advice is not just a transaction. A solution is not just a product, and clients are not just voices on the other end of the phone. So when your good name is tarnished, who goes into bat for you? I can tell you the FPA does, and we promise to continue to do that. So when I look back at just under 18 months as your CEO, I look back with a great deal of pride. It has been truly an extraordinary time where we've gone into bat for our members, and we've done it with a lot of force. Firstly, we had to pull apart the whole organisation and reconstruct the association. It now has one and only one focus going forward, and that is you, the individual practitioner member. You're at the heart of the FPA. And when you gave us the mandate, as Matthew said, for that change in April this year, we also promised to deliver an advertising campaign to build your reputation as FPA members who work to the highest professional standards. As I said, this is a message we're telling Australians over and over again. We are delighted to announce that that campaign has worked. And it worked well beyond our expectations, I've got to tell you. Firstly, we were able to negotiate an extra $1 million of media value from your advertising levy contribution. So thank you. This gave us 6 weeks' worth of TV advertising instead of 5. And then, in the 6 weeks, we delivered a 36% improvement in consumer awareness of the campaign. And that boosted the FPA brand awareness up by 14%. That's unheard of in these sorts of campaigns. And the more often consumers saw the ads, the more they understood our key messages. What are they? Not all financial planners are the same. Always look for an FPA member. Now, during the campaign, we heard from members like Cameron Howlett, a CFP professional in Melbourne. He won a new business client who saw the ad and sought out an FPA member. Others told us for the first time they were asked, "Are you an FPA member?" Some of you may have experienced that. Our online advertisements generated a click-through rate that was 4 times the finance benchmark. That gave our members an additional 20,000 visitors to our website and over 1,500 additional Find a Planner searches. Now, for a brand awareness campaign, this was an unexpected but a very welcome bonus. Now, you may like the advertising or you may dislike the advertising, but there is one undeniable conclusion that we can draw. It worked. And it's vital that we don't lose the momentum that we've gained with Australians so far. Australians are now just a little less sceptical of financial planners and a little more clear about where to turn for advice they can trust. So when the time comes for us to ask you for a further financial contribution to continue to spread this message, we trust that you won't hesitate to give us that support. Now, we're not only watching your back when it comes to consumer perceptions, but we are equally passionate when working with government and regulators. We have to admit that the political process surrounding FOFA has been more than challenging to negotiate. We have remained a key players at the seat of the table, and we have relentlessly fought for our members at that table. In the last year alone, we have met with Treasury and other politicians over 100 times. We participated in more than a dozen government committees and produced over 50 submissions to help shape this new legislation that we're facing. And we also issued more than 70 media releases to broadcast our views as widely as possible. We're watching your back. So in looking to the future, in my view, there are only 2 options. There's the picture that Matthew painted, in which a healthy new generation of financial planners are committed professionals who work to clear, enforceable standards. They are supported by a strong professional body and have earned consumer trust and confidence. Or there's the other option, in which financial planning dissolves into oblivion with no future pipeline of new blood. Financial will have all but lost the battle for trust, credibility, and respect. We will have failed. There is, of course, only one possible outcome. And those of you who know me know that failure is not an option on this front. After all, our business case is watertight. FPA members are qualified and educated well beyond minimum standards required by law. You already adhere to a code of practice that puts clients' interests first, and you don't need the law to enshrine what you already know and practice every day. Indeed, Australia is blessed with more certified financial planning professionals per capita than the United States. Recent research by Investment Trends tells us that CFP professionals are leading the way in the transition to fee-for-service. And our own member recent survey validated this. You have told us that most of your businesses are already largely fee-based. The bottom line is that you are the trustworthy and reliable advisors that consumers are looking for. You're the future of our profession. So today I ask each one of you to step up, rise to the challenges that we're all facing. Only by working together can we raise the bar and create the profession we deserve. So I ask you to take an active part in your profession. Be an advocate to those who aren't yet on the bus. Live up to your commitment and do the best you can to play your part in building your profession. Because when push comes to shove, remember who's watching your back. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you.